Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be going over the Week 4 games of the NFL season, picking the winners, and at the end, an update to the power rankings. This on another episode of. So, to start off the week, on Thursday night, we got the Seattle Seahawks, who are 2-1, taking on the Cardinals, who are also 2-1. And I'm picking the Seahawks to win this. They looked amazing in their matchup with the Saints in week 3. They blew them out of the water. The Cardinals, on the other hand, had a very close matchup with the San Francisco 49ers, which they lost. That Seattle offense is humming right now. Their defense wasn't that tested all that much by the Saints, but it looked pretty good as well. I don't think the Cardinals match up well with the Seahawks, and I think the Seahawks will get the win. Next up, Sunday morning, we got the 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time matchup between the Steelers and the Vikings. Now, I'm going to go with Pittsburgh here. Why? Well, one, I think their defense should start to recover. They had a great week in week 3. I think if that continues, they'll have a great week against the Vikings. Not only that, but their offense, I think, has been looking very good this season. The Steelers were impressive in their win over the Vikings, and barring any setbacks, should continue to be good. The Vikings, on the other hand, they blew out the Cincinnati Bengals in the battle of the backups between Browning and Carson Wentz. And I think that's kind of a one-off for them. Yes, their defense will still be good, and it'll test the Steelers, but that offense, I have so many questions. If Wentz is the starter again, was his success last week a one-off, or can it be duplicated? Moving on, we got the Washington Commanders traveling to play the Atlanta Falcons, and this one's easy for me. I'm going to pick the Commanders to win. The Falcons fell apart in their matchup against the Carolina Panthers. I have zero confidence in their offense right now. Their defense is still decently good, but I have no confidence that that offense can function properly. On the other side of the ball, the Commanders look better in their matchup with the Raiders in week 3, so I'm convinced that the Commanders are going to be able to beat the Falcons easily here. Next up, we got the New Orleans Saints traveling to play the Buffalo Bills. The Saints, they're 0-3. The Bills are 3-0. This is, by no surprise, going to be a win for the Bills in my book. The Saints just are nowhere capable of handling what Buffalo's bringing to the table. Next, we got the 1-2 Cleveland Browns taking on the 2-1 Detroit Lions. Now, the Detroit Lions looked amazing in Monday Night Football against the Baltimore Ravens. They beat them. They beat them down. The Lions made a case to be one of the top teams in the NFL this year. Unfortunately for the Browns, even though they did beat the Packers in a weirdly close defensive slugfest, I don't have faith they can duplicate that against the Lions. And so I'm going to give the Lions the win. Next up, we got the battle of the worst between the 0-3 Tennessee Titans and the 0-3 Houston Texans. And honestly, upset alert, give it to the Titans here. I'm going to pick them. Cam Ward has looked better each week. That young receiving core outside of Calvin Ridley has been making some big plays, some great improvements. Give me the upset. That Texans offense has been missing since before the season. It's bad in Houston. Next up, we got the 1-2 Carolina Panthers taking on the 1-2 New England Patriots. And give me the Panthers. They looked amazing when they shut out the Falcons. That says something about their defense and their offense, because they also put up 30 points while doing so. And they looked great. New England, on the other hand, lost in embarrassing fashion to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, do I think the Panthers are as good as the Steelers? No. I think the Patriots' failures from that Steelers game will not be duplicated here, but I still have questions about that team as a whole, so I'm going to go with the Panthers. Next up, we've got the 3-0 LA Chargers taking on the 0-3 New York Giants. This is Jackson Dart's debut game. I am excited to see how he does against this really good Chargers defense, but I'm going to give the win to the Chargers. I'm not going to pick against a 3-0 team, even if I think it'll be interesting to see how Jackson Dart plays. Now, honestly, if this game was in Philly, I'd pick the Eagles, but it's in Tampa. It's going to be over 100 degrees as of right now. That's what they're expecting. I'm going to pick Tampa to win. Not only are they a good team, but they're at home in their kind of weather, and I think the Eagles will suffer in that weather this upcoming weekend. Next up, we got the 2-1 Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the 3-0 San Francisco 49ers. And here, I'm going to go with the Jaguars. They looked good when they beat the Texans. They're not the first team to struggle against that Texans defense, but their defense held the Texans to 10 points, which is starting to become a trend for the Texans, unfortunately. But the Jaguars have played well. They have a winning record, and I like their chances, especially considering that Niners team continues to get more injured. Yes, they're 3-0, but that team can only lose so many stars before you start to see the losses take effect on their record. And I think it starts here. Next up, we got the 3-0 Indianapolis Colts taking on the 2-1 LA Rams. And here I'm going to go with the Rams at home. The Colts with Daniel Jones have looked amazing so far, but I think their luck runs out here. LA has been electric. Puka Nacua has been pretty much the best wide receiver in the entire NFL so far this year. The rushing game's going. The defense is excellent on the front end. I think the Rams beat the Colts here. Next up, we got the 1-2 Baltimore Ravens taking on the 1-2 Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm going to go with the Ravens here. I honestly feel bad for the Ravens a little bit. They've lost two very close games to good teams so far in the Bills and Lions. And the Chiefs don't measure up to those two teams, I think. So I think the Ravens are good enough to win. They just have to overcome the Derrick Henry fumbles. On the Chiefs side of things, yes, they beat the Giants pretty badly, but they've had two losses so far that were pretty ugly, and I'm not sure that they're fully recovered from that yet. Next up, we got the 1-2 Chicago Bears taking on the 1-2 Las Vegas Raiders. Now, the Bears beat down on Dallas last week. I think they are starting to get in groove with that offense, starting to have things click. I think the Bears are good enough to go and beat up on the Raiders, who have had some ugly losses so far in weeks 2 and 3. Next up, we got the 2-1 Green Bay Packers taking on the 1-2 Dallas Cowboys in the Micah Parsons revenge game. Give me the Packers here. I think Micah Parsons gets his revenge on Jerry. The Packers played bad in that Browns game, but I think they rebound this week. Dallas, of course, lost to the Bears in embarrassing fashion. CeeDee's now hurt. I'd be surprised if the Cowboys found a way to pull out the win here against the Packers. Next up, we got the 0-3 New York Jets taking on the 0-3 Miami Dolphins on Monday Night Football. And give me the Dolphins here. At home, I think they find a way to win. They got close to beating Buffalo this past week after two pretty bad losses. And I think here it finally breaks in their favor and they find a way to win. The Jets, it's still unclear if they'll be having Justin Fields be their quarterback. And until that's decided, I just can't award them a win here. And to finish out the week, we got the 2-1 Cincinnati Bengals taking on the 1-2 Denver Broncos. Now, I'm going to go with Denver here. Why? Well, because unless the Bengals trade for a truly good starting quarterback, their season might as well be sunk. Jake Browning looked atrocious against the Vikings. And honestly, him being atrocious affected the entire team. The Bengals looked terrible against the Vikings in week 3. And honestly, the Denver defense is probably as good as the Vikings defense. I have no faith in that Bengals offense right now unless they get a better quarterback. And I think the Broncos will win. So with that being said, guys, please like, share, subscribe down below. Comment what you think. And I'll see you next time.